In today's Razorback Daily, new Arkansas wide receiver Raylen Sharpe is on the show to talk about being a Razorback and his relationship with quarterback Taylen Green. It's Monday, July 28th, 2025. I'm Quinn Grovey alongside my man Matt Zimmerman, and you're listening to the Razorback Daily.
All right, Quinn Grovey, here we are on this Monday, folks. It's good to be back with you on the Razorback Daily. Thanks for joining us, Quinn. Tara, hope everyone had a good weekend. Quinn Grovey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us all last week from beautiful Florida Panhandle. How was your trip to the Emerald Coast?
Man, I love it. It's so beautiful there. And the condo we're staying at is just right on the beach, so I love that. And then we stay right across the street from Shunk Gully Oyster. I'm sure you've been there, but that's kind of like my fallback spot. That's a great restaurant. That's my fallback spot because I can be lazy, and if I don't make reservations or whatever somewhere, we can just go across the street and get some great seafood, have a great view, all that kind of stuff. So home base, I love home base. I got a grocery store. I got an adult beverage store. I've got food. I've got all kinds of stuff around. So I'm a man of convenience. You already know that. I want things to be very, very convenient. But the one thing I love about going there, especially this time of year, the biggest thing is the amount of Razorback fans that are there. And you run across Razorback fans all day long. I mean, Razorback license plates, those Razorback Foundation's license plates we sell. I mean, all that stuff. Hog fans are everywhere. And I get a chance to really and truly do probably some of the best prep that I can do for the football season because I'm out there talking to the people. Like during the season, you're around and you're on our radio broadcast and the pregame show talking with the people. When you talk with the people, you learn a lot and you hear a lot. Yeah. And so I can be on the beach sitting right next. I mean, I had Razorback fans to the right, Razorback fans to the left. And I love the fact that everybody was giving me their opinion. And so I love that aspect of it because you can stay in touch with what people think all across the state and people that don't live in the state. So I love going that time of year because everybody's so excited about football. But I'm back now. I'm glad. I'm excited about being home. It's always good to get home. You know, Abby missed us. And so we had to get back to old Abby. And but everything is good, Z.
Well, that's good stuff. I'm glad that you're back. Quinn, we got a big week ahead. We're still going to be talking to Razorback football players. We'll talk about that in a second. We've got a lot happening. We're hoping that our Razorback Hall of Honor class, you're a member of the Hall of Honor. We've been working very hard to get that all fine-tuned and squared away and get that out. So that'll be happening. So folks, the University of Arkansas Athletic Department will do a release. And so the Razorback Foundation is a big part of that as well. We're going to host another incredible Hall of Honor weekend. And Quinn,
wait! Don't you skimp over the fact that you are a major force in regards to this whole Hall of Honor thing. I mean, you know, Dean Weber was a guy that used to run a lot of this, and I mean, you've taken over, and so look, a lot of credit to you and Charlotte and what y'all are doing. Hall of Honor is a special weekend for a lot of people. Y'all put in a lot of work to make that happen. So I just want to let people know that you've put in a lot of time, and I don't like, I don't normally give you credit, especially in the public arena.
No, you don't.
But you and Charlotte and the whole committee.
Well, Courtney, Courtney Arnold does so much with the actual, the venues and the food and the flowers and the decorations and getting everything lined up. And Billy Vitito's helped us a lot as well. And as you said, Charlotte Fawcett dealt with our A Club, our Letterman, for a long time. I appreciate that, Quinn, and we're going to have a good class. But Quinn, this year we're going to do the Hall of Honor Notre Dame weekend. Normally, folks, it's usually a bye weekend. It's just a little bit easier to handle all that. But we always do it at the Walton Arts Center, and a lot of factors came in. We don't have a ton of home games early on, and so unless we wanted to do it like Alabama A&M right off the bat, that's Labor Day weekend. There was a lot of different factors, so it's going to be Notre Dame, which will be extra special for all of us. The first time the Fighting Irish have come to beautiful Fayetteville, and we're going to have an opportunity to honor these former Razorback men and women, the greats. I love the Hall of Honor weekend. I know you do too. It's a tremendous time for the Razorback Foundation and for us to honor these former. So those names are going to be popping, folks. Be ready for that. Quinn, before we move on, I want to mention the late, great Alan Zahn. When I was a kid, Alan Zahn was a big deal. He wore number 20. That first team that went 16-0 in the conference, Southwest Conference. Ron Brewer, Sidney Moncrief, Marvin Delph, Steve Shaw, Jim Counts, Steve Stroud, Trey Trumbo, right here from Fayetteville, all these, Lawson Pilgrim. He was on that team, and he played a lot as a freshman. Gene Cady, the longtime coach at Purdue, recruited him here. He was an assistant at Arkansas. He was from Albuquerque, Quinn, and he played here all 4 years for Coach Sutton. He's part of a 16-0 team. They got upset by Wake Forest in the first round of the NCAA tournament. His next year, they go to the Final Four, 1978. And then Ron Brewer, Marvin Delph, those guys are gone. Dr. Counts, they're gone. And now it's him and Sidney, Steve Shaw, U.S. Reed comes in as a freshman, and they go to the Elite Eight. And he had 4 great years with the Razorbacks. Alan Zahn, strong, athletic, tough. And I was calling around Quinn last week to make sure his teammates knew that he'd passed. Dr. Counts had talked to a lot of them, but I got to talk to him, Marvin Delph. Houston Nutt was on that team. He's on the team picture that when they won the 16-0. And Coach Nutt didn't play a lot, but he was on that team, got on that court some. We've seen team pictures where he's wearing 14. We've seen team pictures where he's wearing 21. He was 21 in that. But just wanted to mention Alan Zahn because of our older listeners, they know who Alan Zahn was and what he did for Coach Sutton. He died in Texas. He'd gone through some cancer, a bad cancer, and he was a policeman in Tulsa. But anyway, thank y'all for letting me mention Alan Zahn. He was a big deal to Razorback basketball back in those days. Quinn, we've got a great chance right here, folks. You're going to like this young man we got to talk to, Raylen Sharpe. He's going to be wearing number 6 for the Razorbacks this fall. About 5'9", 5'10". He's a small wide receiver, Quinn. Quinn, he'd been to Houston. He'd been to Missouri. He played, he was at Houston, played at Missouri State, was a big part of them there, Petrino. And he went to Fresno State. Now he's at his 4th school, older guy, experienced guy. And we got a good chance to visit with Raylen, Quinn Grovey.
Well, that's a great opportunity. I mean, to have a guy. I mean, we're trying to find that next alpha dog. Who is it going to be? I mean, who's going to lead this wide receiving core? And I love the fact that, you had Andrew Armstrong last year as your security blanket. You heard me talk about that time and time again. But I love the fact now that you've got an offense where Taylen's going to be generating what's going to take place based off of what the defense is doing. So Taylen will be reading those. And it's good that Raylen, he understands Bobby Petrino's offense, and he wants to come in and make a big impact. So it's really, really good to have him on campus. And let's go ahead and take a listen to his interview.
All right, here we are back on the Razorback Daily, folks. Thanks for joining us. As always, we appreciate it. Quinn Grovey, we have a special guest with us today, and we're excited. This is the first time we've got to visit with this young man, Razorback football player Raylen Sharpe. How about it? And we're excited that he's here with us. Raylen, welcome to the Razorback Daily.
Thank you.
Well, how's it been so far that you've been in Fayetteville? It's a little different. Well, you're a Texas guy. You grew up in Texas, but you went out to California. Just talk about what it's like for you to be in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and at the University of Arkansas.
It's been great. Just being with Coach P and Coach Fouch, being able to reunite with them. I'm closer to family. Cali was really far, so I didn't get to really see my family. So my dad just comes down here sometimes just to hang out. So it's been a blessing. Most of my family's from Arkansas, so very excited for the Little Rock game. That's where they're from. So
I didn't know you had family here. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm the only one born in Texas. My dad's from Pine Bluff. My mom's from Little Rock. So Arkansas is my second home. So
yeah, Quinn and I were just in Pine Bluff last Thursday. We had a great time down there at a function that we went to, a fundraiser. So that's really good. We're glad to know that. And talk about your experience. And you went to Fresno, and you, like you said, a long ways from home. but you got to play, and it really probably helped bring you to this point where you're at now.
I think Fresno was a great stopping point. I wanted to get here last year, but God always has a plan. So it was a great time to be able to get away from Texas, get away from home, be able to see a different part of the world, see what I don't like, do like, and so
Yeah,
the West Coast is a lot different from the South. I will
so
tell you
different.
that. I can't really describe it to you, but it's just different.
Yeah,
But it was a blessing being able to be there, being able to play against Michigan, being able to play against those teams. Was able to learn a lot of different things from different people just being out there. So Fresno was a great stopping point. I didn't really plan on leaving. Circumstances happened, coaches getting fired, but it led me here. So it's all a blessing, and I'm grateful for it.
home is more important than ever, and Arvest Bank is here to help you with all of your home loan needs for a new home, a refinance, or maybe making improvements to that current home. We all need some of that. Get started today. It is a great bank. Arvest.com/home for me. That's Arvest.com/home for me. Equal housing lender. All loans are subject to credit approval.
Hey, Raylan, when you look at an offense as a wide receiver in Bobby Petrino's offense, you have an opportunity for a bunch of explosive plays. And just talk about why it was important to get to Arkansas and be a part of that again.
And you're going to get the football. You're going to throw the ball around. He's going to be able to use you in your best abilities. He's going to find you the football. And that's the biggest thing. Another thing is he just knows the game of football. He's able to dial up things and be able to get games going. That's what I love about him. In big games, he knows how to be able to turn it on, be able to get the right people the ball to make explosive plays. So he knows your strengths and your weaknesses, and he's going to use them. And your weaknesses, he's going to turn into strengths. So he's a great person. Coach Fouch, was the running back coach at Missouri, but now is my receiver coach. So it's just a blessing to be back here with them, and just doing my thing.
Yeah, and you played for Coach at Missouri State, and your relationship with Coach Fouch. So you got to feel like it's just kind of like a homecoming for you in a certain way.
Yeah, I already knew I was coming here as soon as they offered. There was no question about it. Just being able to make the transition. I think the biggest thing about transferring is the playbook for a receiver. So knowing that I'm just coming in and already knowing the playbook, be able to come in and play fast, no hesitation, is always great. And playing in the SEC, you can't beat that. So like I said, they know me really well. Coach Fouch and them, they were the first people to offer me, and it was just a no-brainer.
Yeah, I love the familiarity for you and for them and for the coaches knowing you. But I think it's really interesting that you played for them and then you wanted to play for them again. Quinn, in my 25 years of coaching, I think most of the players, when they were done with me, they were like, I'm glad I'm done with him. I don't have to listen to him harp on me no more. But I think that says a lot about the coaches, and I think it says a lot about you that you want to play for them again.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just a no-brainer. They called me as soon as I got in the portal. So I told my dad I was coming home anyway. So it's just God has a way of, putting things together, and I thank him every day because I wanted to get here so badly last year. And so, it all worked out.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Raylan, one of the things that you have to do when you, not only when you transfer, but just in general, you got to find a great relationship with your quarterback. And in Taylen Green, you got a quarterback. Just talk about that relationship and how things are kind of gelling with you and the wide receiving core.
Yeah, me and Taylen go way back. Known each other since like first grade, so we've known each other for a long time, and so just knowing the same people, and then the receiver room itself, man. I think this is a really tight knit group. Just being able to have fun together, regardless of all of us being kind of new. I feel like we get together really easily. We talk to each other about not just football stuff, about life in general. So you got dudes in different age groups, being able to help the younger guys mature a little faster and things like that, being able to help those. And I think the biggest thing is that they know when we speak or any of us speak, it's not coming from hatred. They know this coming from love. And so they listen. We're able to learn from each other. And I think the bond is really strong in this room.
when our fans see you against Alabama, A&M, and then from there on, what will they see? Will they see? Obviously, you're fast. We've seen that. Will they? What kind of picture do you send as a wide receiver for our listeners that have never seen you play?
For me, just being the best slot in America. But the biggest thing is my yards after catch. I think, it's a big thing for me. Being able to get in the end zone is really big for me. Catching the football, I hate dropping the football. So making those tough catches and things like that, and just catching balls in traffic, I think is going to be the biggest thing. Going across the middle and things like that. You can't be afraid to go across the middle. You got to get the dirty work done. So just a player that's just going to give it all for his team, regardless of if that's blocking, that's catching the ball, that's just doing everything possible for my team. So, but a guy that brings energy. I'm gonna get it going. As a receiver, I want to be the one that they call when you need a first down, things like that. So, just being that impact player that when the game's on the line, I might be the guy that they're looking for.
Good explanation.
When you look at Coach Petrino's offense, man, it's very explosive, and there's a lot that the wide receiver has to do on the run. There's a lot the quarterback has to do. There's got to be a lot of communication right there. Just talk about one of the most difficult things that you have to do in this offense as a wide receiver.
Block linebackers. That's probably like the most difficult thing. That's probably about it. Everything else is just football. And just, using my strengths. And I think that's the biggest thing. But that's why I say, like, in the SC level, the linebackers are a little different. But, like I said, you got to get the dirty work done. So I'm going to still do it. So, but other than that, I think the biggest thing for new guys and things like that, this offense is really detailed. Just knowing where you're supposed to be and being there at the right time and, being on the same page with the quarterback. A lot of times if you're not in the right spot, it just messes up so much in this offense. So you got to be detailed. It's like an NFL style playbook. So you're able to learn pretty early, how NFL works and things like that. So, just being detailed and, not going with the motions, because you go with the motions, it's not going to work in this offense.
Man, I love that. It is detailed offense, and it's a great offense. We're anxious to see it. We got a great schedule. We got a chance for a lot of big wins. I know you're excited for all 12 of them. And we're anxious to watch you play. Hopefully, we'll meet your folks at a ball game. They'll be making a lot of the trips.
Yeah,
won't they?
they'll be there. They'll be there for sure.
We're gonna be. Maybe they'll have a jersey on. Maybe they'll have that 6 on, so we'll be able to find them.
Oh yeah, it'd be easy to find them. They're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff on. That's how my family comes. They've always been like that since high school. Everyone's gonna have Sharp and 6 on the back. So
okay,
it's just how they roll. They roll pretty deep. Granny's gonna be here. She's gonna have best fit on. So I can't wait for that.
That's great. Well, Raylen Sharpe, we appreciate you joining the Razorback Daily, man. We're pulling for you. We want you to have a great season, pulling for your health as well, and have a great time. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, bless y'all.
All right, Z and Tara, as we get ready to wrap up this edition of the Razorback Daily. Z, I love this time of the year. It's a lot of work on us. I mean, when we go through and talk to all the football players and the coaches and all that kind of stuff, but it's a necessary evil. You got to do it. You got to have fun doing it. And, boy, we had a great time talking to Raylen Sharpe. He's really good on the daily.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for him getting on. Hopefully we get him on again after he's had a huge game and the Hogs have had a great victory. It's coming, Quinn. August 30th. We're getting closer and closer. We're in the last week of July, folks. I hope you have a great, great last week. I can't believe it. I always say these months fly by. It's getting closer.
Yeah, we won't have another Sunday without some type of football simply because of the pros start Thursday with the Hall of Fame game. And from that point forward, everything else is just a snowball. And before you know it, Z, it'll be week 6 and I'll start getting sad again. But I'm going to enjoy every one of these 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 weeks, however many there is of Razorback football. Well, all right, Z and Tara, that's how we'll wrap up this edition of the Razorback Daily, a Sporting Story production. I'm Quinn Grovey alongside my man, Matt Zimmerman, and we'll talk tomorrow.